Hujambo na karibu. Karibu tena katika ufalme wa Kiswahili. Kama jamii tunasaidiana kukikuza na kukiimarisha Kiswahili chetu kwa sababu tunaamini experts were once beginners. Na wewe pia uko njiani kuwa mmoja wetu na kuongea Kiswahili kama mwenyeji. Kwa hiyo na kusihi subscribe hapo chini. Bonyeza hicho kidude hapo chini subscribe. Hii video ikiisha comment hapo chini. Hi everyone, I hope you have understood that. If you have not understood, you are going to understand if you continue watching Swahili Kingdom, okay? Because I say that in all the videos, and repetition is the key to understanding in language learning. Okay, now today I have a new series that I'm going to go with through this month. Let's see till where it's going to stop. But I have learned a lot of languages. Right now I can speak 7 languages, but in different levels. Okay, by the way, if you are learning Spanish and you would like someone to give you tips, follow my channel, Your Multilingual Guide, where I speak in Spanish and I give you tips on how I have learned Spanish. Okay, so aside from getting my tips in learning Spanish, you are going to listen to the Spanish itself. Okay, and it is from someone who has learned just as you. So meaning I can be your motivation for you to learn Spanish. I can help you with that. Okay? Now, in language learning, as much as you do grammar, you do listen to the language. Right now we are talking about Swahili. It is important that you read. It is important that you read. Why? Because reading gives you new vocabulary, new wordings. It can show you the culture, how people are in that country or that language, okay? Reading really helps. With that, I have written several books in Swahili, stories most especially, and I have written 1A1 grammar book in Swahili, though I'll write others, A2, B1 to C1, okay? But I have storybooks that I recommend you go and read. The first storybook for beginners is called Nyama Choma. You can buy it down below, or you can go on Amazon and just search for Nyama Choma Constance Omina. Search for my name and the book and you're going to find it. So you can get it hard copy on Amazon, or you can buy an ebook from here. Okay? The first one is Nyama Choma. The second one is Maria Mwanamke wa Maajabu. The third one is Kipepeo. The fourth one is called Maisha Mapya. I love it. The fifth one is called, how is it called? Ndoto. Ndoto is a dream. Oh my God, I love it. So Maisha Mapya is an advanced book. What we're going to do is, you're going to see it on your screen. You're going to see it on your screen as I read. Okay, so I'm going to read this story. Since it is a B1 story, an intermediate story, I will translate some of the things that I believe B1 students should be translated for. Because I believe if you are a B1 student, you have a bit of Swahili up your sleeves. You can understand a bit of Swahili. You can introduce yourself. You can introduce another person. You know some prepositions. You know, yeah? If you are a B1 student or you don't know the level that you are in, you need to watch the video that I just uploaded recently. The one that is talking about how to learn Swahili from the beginner to the advanced. I've talked about all of that. If you are a beginner, the things that you should be knowing, intermediate, the things you should be knowing, and advanced, the things that you should be knowing. Okay, now back to the story. Actually, let me say that the person who influenced me or made me to read this story is my student. Hello Babu Khalil. Okay, Babu, I call him Babu. Babu is a name for grandpa, not like this, but is a name for grandpa. Okay, Babu. And he told me to call him Babu because maybe he sees that he's a bit elderly than me. Okay, so I call him Babu. He's so good. So last time in our last class after our lesson, we read this story, And it really encouraged him to continue reading Swahili stories, especially the stories that I have written, because he has the books, but he has not been reading. And I figured, let me do this video to also help people who are learning Swahili, my YouTube students who are learning Swahili, so that they can be encouraged in reading. Okay, so I am going to read this story, and then unfortunately I'm not going to share this PDF. If you like to get it, kindly you can buy from the shop that is there down below on YouTube. Let me start by introducing the story. The story is called Maisha Mapya. Maisha Mapya is generally a new life. Maisha Mapya, a new life. Okay, just note that Maisha is in the Lia noun class. That's why it is Mapya. Remember, Pia is the one for new, and you attach a prefix. We have attached Ma because Maisha is in the Jima or Lia noun class. If it could have been Kiatu, Kivi noun class, we could have said Kiatu Kipya. Kiatu Kipya. But now since it's Maisha, we say Maisha Mapya, a new life. Okay, Maisha Mapya is quite of a sad story, but also a happy story. It is talking about this boy named Juma. Juma is a boy who was raised by her mother, and he doesn't know his father. When he was around 14 years old, his mother died, and he stayed alone without anyone because he didn't know any relative or his parent, and so he had to look for a job. He went ahead and got a job in a bar as a waiter in a bar, because he could not get any other job elsewhere since he was below 18 years. Though the job that he got at a bar was, let me say, a miracle, because they don't employ people who are below 18 years. He was 16 and he was living in a slum area in a very small house. With that, he used to go to work every evenings from 8 p.m. to around 1 p.m. 8 p.m. to around 1 a.m. not 1 p.m. 1 a.m. 8 p.m. to 1 a.m. during the night, and then he will come back home, sleep, stay with his friends, blah blah blah, and do his things. Okay, so now one day there is a theft happened in that bar, and when the boss for the bar came, he saw Juma in the CCTV. But Juma was not the one who stole. Okay, that's where it gets interesting. Juma was not the one who stole the things that were stolen, the money. Juma is not the one who stole the money. But since the boss saw Juma on the CCTV, he chased Juma away and he told him that he was the biggest thief he has ever seen. Juma went back to his small house and he cried for his mom, how his mom taught him good manners in life. And then after that he called his friends, took his friends, and they went to another club. The club they used to name as expensive. It was called Zuhu, Bar ya Zuhu, or Club ya Zuhu. Okay, they went there and then they found a bouncer or a soldier who was at the door looking at the list, and he was only allowing people in. Those people who are only in the list were the ones who were allowed in. Juma and his friends were not in the list, and you could be allowed in only if you were in the list and you had a girl. But Juma, they were only boys. He had two friends, Bakari and Danieli. So they were three guys: Juma, Bakari, Danieli. So the bouncer didn't allow them in. So Juma thought of something, and he told his friends, I've just thought of something. I think we can be allowed in. What did he think about? That is what we are going to find out in the story. So let me read a bit of the story. The thing that I have told you is the first, how is it called? The first chapter, that is called Wizi. Wizi is theft. Wizi is theft. So it is talking about the background of Juma, what happened to Juma, friends of Juma, blah blah blah. And actually, if you buy this book, you are going to get an audio version of it. There is a QR code for you to scan to get an audio version of it. Let's start. Maisha mapya, sura ya kwanza, wizi.